Well, good evening, everybody. Dirsa here with another post-game show, joined by Neil Garritty. Weather's coming off a 4-3 loss in regulation against the lowly Anaheim Ducks. What'd you think of that one?
It was not good. It should have been, man. Can you even say we got goal lead? I mean, we fired a lot of shots at him. He made some good saves.
And yet, the shot total was high, but I think we came out of the gates kind of slow for a team that we should probably jump all over. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nurse gets that early goal, but even that wasn't early enough for me. I would have liked one like first shift. Like, would it take 4 or 5 minutes before he got that? And I mean, that wasn't a great goal. I mean, it was just
No,
a little bit of a wrister far side, and I don't think there was really much of a screen. It just found the back of
I
the net.
I don't think he saw it.
And
I
then
don't think he did. But I mean, they got one back on us later that
yeah, I mean, we gave it right
I
back.
didn't
Like,
see either.
you know, Nurse gets the puck and he's kind of behind the net and doesn't want to do the same thing he did against St. Louis, so he
Yeah,
rifles
I
it up,
saw that.
the boards, and it's
Yeah,
it's only about waist high, and the guy just hugged the wall and kept it in,
yeah.
and it's
He did
1-1.
that. He did that last game too. That like his last horrible game. There was, I think it might have been the first goal that he screwed up on. You could tell he's about to backhand it right to their guy, and he's like, nope. And instead he hit it off their guy's stick or whatever it was. Made a mistake the other way. But you could tell he was learning from one mistake, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's a step in the right direction, sort of. But the bigger issue on both like the St. Louis goal and that first one today isn't so much the coughing up the puck; it's what he does afterwards. Like
Yeah,
I think he gets shell shocked and forgets that okay, probably the most dangerous guy that on the ice is the guy I turned the puck over to. Like on the one where he gave it up to Tarasenko, if he would have just covered Tarasenko, Tarasenko doesn't score, but we
absolutely.
we get looking for the puck in the corner and go puck
No,
watching, and you
I
know,
didn't I didn't like CC on that play either. Like he wasn't exactly covering the guy with the puck either. He wasn't no one was being aggressive towards the puck area. He
yeah,
just standing around. And then Maris obviously he made a mistake. He was probably trying to cover for his mistake, you know? You get that. I understand the response, but man, it looked bad.
I listened to Jason Strudwick the other day, and I agree with him. Like Nurse after he scored that goal today, if he would have just played a quiet game,
Yeah.
but he wants to be so involved and do so much, and then it gets away on him. Like you're not going to earn your salary in one period, so
No.
just simplify your game and dial it in, and so he does that, and then Bouchard, with the backhand across the ice that gets picked, and breakaway city, and not much Skinner can do on that. And then
Yeah, it's the screen.
yeah, and then
I could hear Mike Smith yelling from here.
yeah, yeah,
Did you see the look Skinner gave Bouchard after that?
no,
Oh, it was like just laser beams through him. Bouchard didn't even want to look at him.
oh, so I'm getting told your audio is not good, and I don't
My
know.
audio?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on because I sort of had the same problem with Bob the goalie last time. What's the audio like now? Some stranger on YouTube there was let me know.
Does he want me to talk more? Maybe he just doesn't like what I have to say.
Hmm. maybe say a word there, Neil, for a second?
Yeah, I didn't like Bouchard's play at all tonight.
And then they switched up the pairings.
Yeah, I don't like Bouchard with Nurse.
Wonder if the echo's gone now.
I actually thought Tyson Berry had a decent game.
Barry's kind of giving you the same game for a while.
Yeah, on the power play, he just rips that puck around.
I think he's fifth in the NHL defenseman for scoring too.
Yeah, I think he's fifth on our team for scoring too. He is fifth or sixth.
That Nurse cross check,
Well,
if you're gonna give him the cross checking call, call the dive because
yeah,
it was a push. I mean,
get one back later like that. Who was it? What's his name? Zegers got one that wasn't very hard either. But there was about 8 of those during the game for both teams that they didn't call.
I wonder what's going on with your audio there. It didn't when I.
Something I can do.
I don't know. It might be on my end here with my.
Try headphones.
Yeah, some stranger on YouTube here is saying Holloway played well.
Really well.
Yeah, no, I think he earned, he probably deserved a little bit more time than he got. And if we weren't chasing the game as much as we were, I think he probably would have got it.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was interesting that Pugliarvi was in at the end of the game.
Yeah, but maybe they just want him in front of the net there to.
Maybe they want him in front of Pat Verbeek.
Yeah,
Wasn't he watching their games?
allegedly.
Yeah. Apparently he traveled with them. It was weird.
With Edmonton?
Well, not like with them, but he went like they're back to back. That like he was at both those games.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would want off that team.
Anaheim?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean Fowler is capable.
Like Fowler, I like Fowler.
But I don't know. Like to me, level up a little bit more. Josh Manson. I mean, that's kind of player this team needs.
Yeah, he's not there though.
Not anymore. No.
No.
And I'm not sure Joe Sakic would be willing to deal him to us. So.
What if his dad begged him to?
Yeah. I feel bad for Nurse, but the Oilers need to upgrade. Chikrin or Gavrikov could help. Really, I think the last couple of games, what I've gotten is the Oilers need an upgrade both on the left side and the right side.
I agree with you. Like back to that Nurse is doing too much. It's because he has to.
Yeah.
CC has not been good this year.
In that game against St. Louis, I mean, when that gaff at the end of the game happened, I think he was at somewhere around 28-45 of ice time.
Yeah.
Like he finished the night, I think, with 29:03, but I think he got a shift in overtime there. So he was well into the 29-minute or 28-minute mark when he turned that over, and
he doesn't do power play.
To me, that's too much. He sometimes gets second unit time, but like 20 seconds and whatever. So
yeah, I don't know. I would love to. I mean, he's missing like an Adam Larson.
Yeah. No, that's kind of player this team needs.
Yeah.
Too many choices on YouTube says you guys surprised that they started Skinner tonight. I'm not. I think they're after some wins and trying to get some kind of distance and kind of climb the ladder a little bit in their division and bank some wins. And unfortunately, that backfired today.
Like today was supposed to be like a guaranteed win, or maybe not guaranteed, but one you should win. You've had this tough schedule to start, and now you've got some easy teams coming up, but you got to win the games.
Yeah, and I guess that gets us into a talking point too. Like, it, it seems that year after year, coaching regime after coaching regime with this group, that they lose these kind of games against teams they should feast on. And I think it's, kind of like us fans thinking it's over before it starts. Like, it's guaranteed win day.
I thought after that Anaheim game that, maybe that was in the past. We took it to them.
Arizona.
Arizona, sorry, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Arizona. I thought, okay, that's a bottom feeder team that we should beat, and we stomped them.
Yeah. And the funny part is that, they do this, and then they can turn around and they can beat, the likes of Colorado, Tampa, Florida, upper echelon teams in the league. And then they'll, win a couple games, and then they'll get up against a team they probably should beat again, and then they go on a losing streak. Like, it's weird. They're you can't figure these guys out. I don't know. Like,
they're finding new ways to lose.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to really get on them, because they did get the shot total up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, it's just like that first 10, 15 minutes of the first, you just weren't really there. Like,
yeah,
Holloway was the standout forward in the first period. Good for him, but I think that's an indictment on what are the rest of you guys doing.
Totally. Well, you know what? I think most of their top forwards play great in the opposing team zone. And even the last game with those Nurse gaffes, like with that 30 seconds left, who's on the ice? Nurse had two guys on him and no one else around him. It just everyone could just take a man. There's 30 seconds left. It's that, like, knowing the situation, knowing where you are in the game. Like, let's not, like, no chances here.
There was a lot of dominoes that fell on that gaff.
Yeah.
I mean,
you talk about Strudwick, and he said once on one of the shows, it might have just been on his radio show, that he was talking about goalies, and he said, rarely is it ever just the goalie's fault. Like, almost never. There's a lot of things that go wrong before it gets to that. And I think that's true of almost any situation. If you can't expect our D to be perfect. If the only way we're going to win is if everyone plays a perfect defensive game and no one, you got to be backing them up. You gotta read the play. You gotta read where a danger zone is. If they've got a guy standing in front of the net, and I don't know, you're the high guy or whatever, like, don't take that guy, or yell at one of the defensemen to do it or something. But it just seems like I don't know how many times other teams have a wide open shot right in front of our net. It happens a lot.
Yeah, our coverage is crazy, and I think a lot of it stems from, like, there's a lot of these guys that don't really cover a guy. They get puck watching. Just 1 second. Didn't have my laptop plugged in for a second. We could have lost her all. The amateur hour.
I noticed too, like, when we dump it up the boards, our wingers often get beat to that puck by their defenseman or by their winger. Being a defenseman for the Oilers is not an easy job. they don't make it any easier on themselves a lot of times. But man, we do not have the best defensive forwards in the league.
I, one of the things that I think happens a lot with this group is forwards flee the zone a little early, to say the least. So defensemen don't really have an outlet. And what I see the idea is that forwards camp like almost like on the red line at the boards, and
Yeah,
they just shoot for a stick, and a lot of times they miss, and it goes for icings. Like I don't know, I have this nothing to back it up with, but I think we lead the league in icings. It sure seems that way anyway.
yeah. I think it's gotten better lately, but the start of the year, I agree with you. We were icing the puck a lot.
And take it back to that St. Louis goal. When Nurse first gets that puck, he actually has like a little backhand that he could have launched because he had two Oilers kind of just leaving,
Yeah,
and he could have just like a soft backhand about 4 feet off the ice over the blue line, little lollipop, and they're out.
yeah, that's right.
But he held on to it, goes behind the net. That's fine. He should have hit the brakes.
Yeah,
And Tarasenko was just providing sort of token pressure there. Like he wasn't really on him. He wasn't that far away from him, but he wasn't actually attacking him. He was bailing out,
yeah,
but he had to stick there just in case. And guess what?
yeah.
Bats it down, keeps the play alive.
It goes behind the net to
Well,
Connor
well,
McDavid.
McDavid picks up the puck and he goes behind the net, and Kyrou has the angle on him and cuts him off, and bing bang boom, it's in the net. So
Yeah,
so I mean everybody wants to run Nurse, drive him to the airport. It wasn't just him that fucked that up.
no,
I
not
mean
at all.
he deserves the lion's share of it. But
For sure.
McDavid had it, and he could have rimmed it too. He didn't.
He could have just like poked it out or whatever. He
The
could have
part
done
of it
something.
the part of it for me that's aggravating though is that not only did Nurse find Tarasenko, but he left him because
Yeah,
oh look, the puck's in the corner. I better pay attention to that. And then Tarasenko's got 3 feet of daylight, and that's all he needs
yeah.
to
But
to
there again, like,
to end it.
how did like Kyrou comes in unimpeded? You know, if I'm Nurse's D partner, if I'm Nurse's D partner and I see like this mayhem going on, maybe I go and cover a guy that's in front of the net. I don't like it.
It was a comedy of errors, is what it
Absolutely,
was.
Nurse fucked up. He
Yeah.
did, but man, it's funny because Woodcroft said after the game, after that one, they win and lose as a team, and everyone thought he was just pointing out Nurse. I think he was pointing out McDavid too, and didn't. He's not going to say it.
Well, if you're calling for Nurse to get benched to spend a night in the press box, you're putting another AHL player into the lineup. That's not
Oh,
going to help win hockey
oh,
games either.
like I've heard, like we got to trade Nurse now
Yeah.
for cap space and like a couple other D men that will help us out. How does that like?
Yeah, love him or hate him, he munches a lot of minutes. He's probably one of the most athletic guys in the league, and can probably the only defender that can skate with McDavid other than Makar.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think he's the easiest guy to replace. I I don't know.
he's
And
not like he's not. I think there's some people that think you're a number one D man. That means you're the number one D man in the league. That's not how it works.
I,
It doesn't go like the pay scale doesn't go. Kale McCarr gets 10 million,
right.
and then Hedman gets 9.5, and then you work your way down. They're
Yeah.
not ranked.
Yeah.
He's our number one D man.
As soon as he signed that contract, he had to be Kale McCarr. Well, that was never ever going to happen.
No,
But if you look at some of the other guys that get kind of what he gets, the Seth Jones, Zach Werenski,
holy,
I,
not
I
even close.
I'll take Nurse.
Seth Jones. You'd think we're complaining about a contract and a bad defenseman.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever regains the form he had a few years ago in
I
Columbus.
don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. Uh, Renegade Man 83. I wonder if that's a shout to Hemsky, but Nurse has a no movement clause. So, yeah, so not the easiest guy to trade.
But also, like, how are you gonna upgrade that and pay less? Like, who's available that is you're gonna get for less money that is better than Darnell Nurse?
I mean, I guess if you're swinging for the fences or whatever, you're trying to move the contract. You could probably talk to San Jose. Maybe they take Nurse for Carlson.
Is,
Uh,
is that an upgrade?
I don't know. I think it's kind of six of one, half a dozen of another. You're probably going to get more offensive, output out of Carlson, but you're going to sacrifice, some defensive
I don't think.
capability, and you're probably going to need to go look for somebody that has a physical edge to them as well, to because until Kane's back, you're not going to have anybody.
Yeah, but I don't think our issue is offense. I think we're fine scoring goals. But like, I don't think getting a more offensive defenseman is the way to go.
No, this team needs a defensive
Yeah.
stud.
I wish CC was more like Larson and less like Nurse.
There's not much of a mean streak at all to Cody Cece. He's too
No,
gentlemanly.
and I wish all of our defensemen were meaner. Like they should be tough to play against. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Even
the missing Duncan Keith, it's the nastiness really. Like he was an asshole in the corner and behind the net and in front of the net. He knew how to use a stick. It was that veteran savvy.
absolutely
Yeah, there was a meanness,
before the refs looking.
and when he passed the puck, there wasn't very often that it was a lollipop. I mean, it had a lot of mustard on that hot dog.
He wasn't dumping it to their guy just inside our zone very often.
If the other team got a piece of
Like
it,
his
it,
stick.
it was likely to break their stick. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
or it's gone for icing. But
Yeah. But like you said earlier, I think I'd rather take an icing than, give it right to their guy
yeah,
in our zone. And, I gotta say this too. Skinner has been great. And today, they're not his fault necessarily, but man, would it ever be nice that when someone turns a puck over, a goalie makes a save and bails out the guy? It does, when we turn it over, it doesn't always have to go in the net.
the I mean the Bouchard screen.
But not that one.
Cody from
Person.
Cody from World Hockey Report said he looked like he was 4'9" there instead of 6'4". He was
Yeah.
kind of down in the butterfly there, and would have liked him to stand up. And I actually heard Skinner talk about it in his post game too, and he kind of said the same thing. He chose to go in the butterfly, and if he could do it again, he would have stood up and
Yeah.
had a chance. But
Which one was that?
that was Bouchard in his way.
Oh, right.
Yeah. The
Maybe I'm
set.
thinking of last game, that one that they scored from like the face-off dot, or maybe even higher.
Yeah. Well,
The stir over his shoulder.
the second goal today on the power play there, I didn't like that goal.
No.
That one got through him a little too easy for my liking. But
Yeah,
it's hard to be critical of Skinner because he's played so well. Like
I agree. I agree. But
team
again,
team
like,
needs to find a way to bail him out. After all the defensive blunders in front of him the last couple games.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not saying that we need to worry about the goalie or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, when you play defense and you make a mistake, which happens all the time, you know, when your goalie bails you out, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, and they're not getting a lot of that, but
No.
um, power play is kind of taken over number one spot in the league. That seems to be a well-oiled machine. I still
Yeah.
don't like I still don't like our penalty kill. I uh, I think the system needs to be thrown out the window. I I really don't like our forwards look on penalty kills. Up high, they seem to like not know who's supposed to go where, and they get crossed up and burnt a lot.
Yeah,
It seems like they're confused, like who's supposed to follow the puck, and um, these weird switch offs, and
yeah.
it seems to buy like the opposition lots of time to move it around. And you think they'd have a lights out penalty kill, like having to practice against the power play, but maybe some of the personnel being on both needs to be
Yeah.
addressed. Maybe
And
that's
maybe
an
that's
issue.
part of the problem. Like I think they are trying that. I don't know if you have numbers in front of you, but it seems like Nuge is playing less penalty kill than it was last year. Um, and I think Draisaitl's playing a little less penalty kill
Yeah,
than he was last year.
yeah.
Um,
McDavid's taking some of his
David's
PK
playing
minutes.
more. You know the thing I like about that is other teams have to be very careful.
Yeah,
They can't be loosey goosey just winging the puck around
yeah,
when he's out there because he is a threat to steal a puck and score.
yeah. And he also makes you have to speed up your decision making because he's so fast.
Exactly.
And I don't mind that. You know what? I think the ship's probably sailed on Jesse Puljujärvi, but if he's going to stay here, I wouldn't mind seeing that kid with his reach and length and lankiness and actually defensive kind of mindset that he has, getting
Yeah.
some looks on the penalty kill. But you have to put him out there, I think, with somebody that's a bit more of a speed demon. Not saying he's slow, but just want somebody really agile out there with him. But
Yeah,
I think he can
yeah,
disrupt a lot. Yeah.
or even, well, let me have two. Those are all. I was thinking Hyman. Those guys are all right hand shots, but um, you know, Derek Ryan now he's a right hand shot too. um, yeah, I don't know about the PK. Like, I don't know what changed to make it worse.
Yeah. No.
Although, you know, what's the stat on Smith and short when we were shorthanded? Wasn't he the number one goalie in the league last year?
I'm not sure on that one.
I
But
think so.
that's
Like
an interesting point because one of the things that Smith was, I mean, we all know what kind of puck handler he was, but he would shut power plays down just by, if they chip it in, he goes and stops the puck and throws it out of their end by himself. And that's one of the other problems I think with the PK is sometimes when they do actually recover it, they're a little lackadaisical on just firing it down the length of the ice. They want to try to make three passes and get it out that way, and
there's another Duncan Keith thing.
yeah, that too.
Filling a penalty. If that puck touches his stick, it's
Yeah,
down at the other end in a hurry.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
That's one of the things that Nurse is actually good at too. Is on the
yeah.
PK when he does recover it, he seems to get it out. But yeah,
Because I know people don't like the lying down thing, but on the PK, with our tendency to not stop pucks going across the middle, it makes it more difficult for the other team. It takes that pass away.
some stranger here says the PK is missing Chris Russell.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean
why Ryan Murray
the
instead of Chris Russell?
the shot blocking and getting in lanes and that Chris Russell was definitely good at. Um, when it comes to Nurse too, I think he does a good job of getting a stick in the way, but he doesn't block a ton of shots. Like there's really nobody now that blocks a ton of shots.
No, no,
That was I think
not on purpose.
I think Keith actually had more blocks. Well, he had more time, I guess, than Chris Russell too. So it's not really fair, but he was good at blocking shots too.
Yeah, yeah, he was.
And like we were there was lots of people ragging on Duncan. I mean, it kept me and Dash busy for a whole year talking about him. But it highlights that they need some help on that in that left D and that right D. And I'm almost of the opinion that Ken Holland is building this team for next year, not really this year.
Yeah, and I don't. I think Ken Holland is. I can't say he's been horrible. He's made some great signings. No GM is perfect, that's for sure. I think the Keith thing. I think he thought he was getting a bunch of money back when Keith
Well, he probably should have.
retired after
He
the league
probably should
changed the
have.
world.
He probably
Yeah,
should have. It's like we're writing the rules of how these trades work as we go, just to
yeah. Like they read the CBA with their lawyers,
yeah,
sign the contract,
yeah,
and then they change it.
yeah.
Like hard to blame him for that. Um, and and he was, I think he was handcuffed like heavily when he came in. Like Koskinen contract was horrible,
Yeah.
and like had to live with it until this
Well,
year last.
hopefully at some point Jack Campbell, becomes a NHL caliber goalie again, and
Yeah,
he isn't handcuffed himself with that one. But so far for Jack, it's not been what anybody has wanted. So, but like they say, goalies are voodoo. So who knows?
yeah,
I don't have a firm opinion of what he is. I think it hasn't gone well so far, and that's obvious. But is he doomed to be this way the rest of his life, or the rest of his career? I don't think so. But
it's
I
they're
don't know.
they're no one knows.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You want to prove to me that analytics work?
yeah.
Like Vesna goalie,
Goalies, I think, can be a little bit like goalies. I think can be a little bit like starting pitchers.
Yeah,
You don't really know 100% what you got there.
no, I don't think anyone does either. GMs don't. You hear coaches often, they're like, well, I'll talk to the goalie coach and see what's going on there.
Uh,
It's like they just like leave that alone over there.
some stranger says the Campbell contract isn't much better than Miko's. Right now, for me, it's almost the same thing. Um,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is. Like we
yeah,
traded, we swapped Miko and Smith, who like Smith was dirt cheap.
yeah.
Say what you want about him, but he didn't cost a lot of money.
No, no.
And Miko, we swapped those guys for Campbell and Skinner. One guy's cheap and one guy's expensive.
Um, so this is kind of off the Oiler train, but did you see the Timo Hartikainen shootout attempt?
I did not.
All right. Well, let's just say he mixed in like a little Robbie Shrimp with maybe Trevor Zegras, and he tried a one-hand loop-to-loop goal. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
Like
and
with
he
the
yeah, like around the world with one
yeah,
hand, and he almost put it in, but I think he went over the net.
I've seen guys do it in shinny a lot,
Yeah,
but
it was crazy. Look it up, and you'll be like, "Wow, I didn't know Timo Hartikainen had hands like that." After, um, yeah, one of my notes here too was the nurse bench him, healthy scratch him, and I just, you know what, I don't know.
that does not make you better.
I think the way to handle what he's going through right now is plenty of time in the video room.
Yeah,
Show him what he's doing wrong, and teach him what he should be doing. To me, the biggest issue right now is the puck watching. Like the turnovers are going to happen, but how do you defend? Okay, you know, uh, this is a basketball mentality that I have, but you got to see man and the ball. Well, if you're going to look at the puck, you got to know where your man is. If you're focused totally on the puck, then your man can be anywhere, and you have no
yeah,
idea. You have no idea. So and I think that is teachable stuff. I don't think that is beyond anybody. I think you can teach people how to defend. I don't think it's a skill you can't learn. He's going to have to unlearn kind of some instincts that he has, and that might take some work. But you've got to do that. You need this guy to know how to defend, and then everything else will be gravy.
Yeah.
But that needs to come first, and it's not just Nurse. I mean, they're all fucking guilty of it. Every one of them.
Oh,
They all
they're,
puck watch.
they're on the wrong side of the play too often. They are in between,
Yeah.
like,
Well, once
there's
you what
one of their guys in between our guy and the goalie all the time.
if you just kind of glance and then pay attention to your man, you're okay. But once you pay full attention to your man can go anywhere,
Yeah,
and you're burnt. You're toast. So you know your man's the most important thing. The puck can't do anything unless it gets into a dangerous spot. But if it's not your man with the puck, you don't really need to worry about it.
there's too many times where either one of our forwards or one of our D, we're either in the corner along our boards in our zone, and their guy leaves the boards and goes right past our guy. If you're the winger or the defenseman and their player just went past you, and you don't have the puck, you got to go get that guy. You can't just let him go. Like, that's your guy.
Yeah,
Bouchard has been guilty of it so many times. He's going into the corner to help somebody else out, and one of their guys will skate right past them to the front of the net.
yeah, wide
What
open.
are you doing, man? Like,
Yeah,
don't do that.
yeah. So we get victimized that way. And then sometimes we get victimized by not recognizing that, hey, they're going to pass the puck up the middle and go in on a breakaway. We get caught going almost the wrong way, like we're skating forwards when like there's you got to play defense first.
Absolutely.
Get control of the puck and then go on offense. Away you go. Wee. Especially when you're a defenseman. I mean, you're the other than Skinner, you're the last line of defense.
Yeah.
That
I,
irritates me. Like it happens to it seems like it happens to Bouchard and Kulak the most, where they will get caught either on a bad pinch, a bad read, and or just turning the wrong way or
yeah.
whatever, and it's usually either at the red line or our blue line, and guys gone. And NHL players are too good. You give them
Yeah.
lots of ice, they're going to take advantage.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
and Tortorella today healthy scratched their leading scorer Kevin Hayes today.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, well, then we should scratch Nurse. Well, Philadelphia is kind of in what are they in seventh place in the Metro? I think there's a little bit of difference between them and us. We're trying to win hockey games and climb the standings, and Tortorella can afford to really send a message because they're in the doghouse.
I think that's a dumb play, anyways. Like, just because Tortorella did it doesn't mean it's a good idea. He's your leading scorer.
I
You
mean,
can other ways of going about this.
yeah, you want to have your players accountable and listen to the coach and that, but that can work against you too, and that sometimes it becomes why Torts seems to have short tenures wherever he goes. You know, you're benching your offense. Well, pretty soon, people start not listening, and
Exactly.
you've lost the room.
Well, guess what? We lost again. Wonder why.
Yeah, and I don't think in today's NHL you can yell and scream your way to a Stanley Cup. It just
No.
you know he demands your attention, but I mean, I don't know. I think that kind of stuff just doesn't really work
Yeah.
so much anymore. I think
No.
you have to be there for your players, and and you have to be willing to teach and not just crack the whip all the time.
Sure. You know what? I think like for the Oilers, I trust Woodcroft for the most part. There's been some times like in game situation like today, I would have liked to have had him call a timeout earlier. Maybe when we had just scored on the 5-on-3 and there was still like a minute and a half left on the power play.
He used it on the other power play, didn't he, late in the third?
Yeah, later. But like that, we just tie it, like go for the jugular right now. You know. But that for the most part, I trust what he's doing. And we talked about like different guys on the PK. The thing that I don't think a lot of fans think about is that those coaches see those guys on the ice every day. And I'm sure they're trying pulley RV in certain drills, on the penalty kill. And that they are. they want to know what they have there. They will try it in a practice and they'll have an idea. If it's not working, then it's not working. But that's how guys work their way up to, the penalty kill or the power play or more minutes. They do well in practice, and the coach sees it, and they give them ice time.
I, my biggest beef with that PK is how they have the forward alignment. I think that
Yeah,
system needs to be thrown out the window and come up with something else. It just seems awkward and confused and it you know every half second of ice you give that other team is more time for them to sort of
yeah,
pick you apart. And
yeah.
there's like a weird interchange that happens between the forwards and
They've got like two guys in a line, and the defenseman
yeah, yeah.
instead of like a box or whatever. But
It's almost like they're trying to overload the point, and you're already in an odd man situation, so it just to me it's not a good alignment.
no,
I don't like it at all.
me neither. And like I'd rather people be shooting from the point, like than
Yeah,
like we're forcing them to shoot.
it's
You know,
it's almost like the worst power play alignment you could ever create if you were trying to defend Ovechkin.
yeah,
Because you've overloaded the points and you're leaving wingers in more dangerous
yeah,
positions open.
yeah.
And I don't know. I really don't like it.
No,
Every
I think it works with certain guys.
yeah.
Like I think McDavid and like Nuge are, when they're up, they seem to read each other really well. Or I think McDavid will be the highest guy all the time,
If he's
which
if he's
which
in
makes sense.
if he's in your hot pursuit chase mode, barking dog kind of mode, great.
Yeah,
But then you're tiring him out on the penalty kill too. So
yeah, yeah. But then if you have, because then as the next guy down, you've got that in front of you, so you can see it, and so what's behind you. And
it's just
Nuge is really good at, get intercepting pucks and things like that too. So
to me it
it's,
causes a weird alignment because you've got that one guy up high between the points and the other guy's kind of like he's got a lot of ice to cover.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
sometimes they do this little like interchange with it and I don't know, I cringe every time I see
yeah,
it. I really
yeah,
don't like it. Like I'd like more of a more of a box. And then when the puck is at the points, then you kind of can go after it. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I really detest it every time I see it.
yeah. No, it's not been looking good, that's for sure. And what's the kind of rule of thumb that you want your special teams to be, like, add up to over 100%?
Yeah,
So if your PK is at 75, you need your power play to be at 25.
yeah,
20,
yeah,
luckily ours is. So
yeah,
we're still in that 100%, but that's
yeah.
because our power play is ridiculous.
That needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, or you're not going very far in the playoffs if you can't kill
No,
penalties.
no.
If you can't get that fixed, then you have to play a really passive game, and that I don't think that wins you playoff hockey. Um, how about offside gate? Uh, Chris Dingman said on Twitter to me, kind of well in this one thread, he says, "Safe to say, any puck in McDavid's shadow is under control."
For me, the my problem with the one like this one and the McCarr one are totally different. They're not even comparable.
Yeah, there's
You know,
it causes confusion on both. I think um, you know, do you need to be touching the puck? Can you not be touching the puck like that? I don't know. It if you look at that Kuznetsov one for the
yeah,
Capitals, it was
yeah.
almost identical to the
Yeah.
McDavid one, and that one counted, and this one
Well,
didn't.
I said that, the McCarr one, I will say that the similarity is the possession part of it or control or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. But my problem with the McCarr one is there is no way that that linesman saw that that puck was not on McCarr's stick when he crossed the blue line with it. He was on the other side. McCarr's stick was, in between the puck and his vision.
I mean, that's
No
taking
way
the
he did that.
that's
Like the league
taking
should just
that
blown that down
that
offside.
that's taking the tag up rule to the extreme.
It is.
You know,
Like there's no way the ref saw that. There's absolutely no way. They figured it out on the replay,
I
but
mean,
he should have just whistled that down offside.
see, the problem with some of this is it's there's too much discretion, like room allowance in the rule. So
That's what I think too. So here's the linesman in the McDavid one the other day thought that McDavid was in possession of that. Otherwise, he would have blown it offside.
right,
His feet were 2 feet ahead of the puck over the blue line. Like it was a pretty obvious offside if he's not in possession of it. So the linesman obviously thought he was in possession of it. Otherwise, he would have blown the whistle.
yeah. So then
And
Toronto calls and shuts it down.
yeah, so here's what I
where were they on the Kuznetsov one? Like,
right. Here's what I think should happen on those. If it's a question of possession and the linesman calls it a certain way, the league shouldn't get to go back and say, no, we think he didn't have possession. Like the linesmen represent the league, right, on the ice. So and the rules. So and it's a subjective rule. So if the linesman subjectively thinks, no, that one's fine, the league shouldn't get to phone down and say, no, we think it isn't.
it's interesting.
What the subjectivity is,
Some stranger here says the league has decided puck on stick is what constitutes control/possession when entering the O zone. So now we're changing the rule as we go here. I mean, I don't know. You want to get rid of the discretionary part of this, then puck has to be in before man. Simple.
Yeah, yeah. One change that I would like to see them make too, and this is sort of related. It's related to offsides. Is have the blue line be the whole blue line. If the puck is touching blue, it's onside. So if it doesn't have to cross the far end of the blue line, and then when it's coming back out the other way, it's like onside changes in like a little 6-inch space.
Right.
At one point it's over here, and then once you've gained the zone, then it's over here. Like just make the blue line. If it's touching blue, it's good. That's what and it would eliminate so many of those like skate in the air ones, where he's this much offside because the puck hasn't gone all the way across the forward part of the blue line.
Open it up completely, no offside.
No, I think that's stupid. That's shinny.
Way we go, pond hockey it up.
Yeah.
So on Steve Dangle's podcast there, I caught kind of a little clip I thought was interesting. It kind of raised the point of if Ovi beats Wayne's record for goals, who has a better career when it's all said and done? Is it Ovechkin or Crosby? And they were trying to make a case that being the greatest goal scorer of all time puts you high up on the mantle. And I don't know. I mean, that's great, but to me, I look at the trophies that Sid's got. He's got his cups. He's got gold medals.
World championships. He's won everything.
So I still say it's Sid unless Ovi gets more done in the playoffs.
If you want to say if Dangler or whoever wants to say that Ovechkin is my favorite player, fine. But to say that he's better than Sid, like based on what?
Yeah, I got to clarify. It wasn't Steve Dangle that was ranking Ovi over Sid, but he did concede to the fact that if Ovi beats Wayne's record, that's pretty impressive, and yeah, it is. But the other guy that he had with him was saying, and it got my dander up. But he was saying, um, the reason we keep track of assists is kind of a Canadian thing to feel sorry for the guy that can't score. and and I kind of that pissed me off because sometimes, yeah, you score goals all on your own, but a lot of times the hard work is done by the guy that passed you the puck more so than you just banging it in the net.
That's
Uh,
just that's just stupidity.
yeah,
That's
and
I don't like the people that that argue about second assists either. Like,
yeah,
oh, that defenseman, all he got is a bunch of second assists.
right.
Isn't that exactly what a defenseman is supposed to do? Make
Well,
a great pass out, that person passes it to someone else and they score a goal. Like
sometimes it's the original pass that's the difficult one to make, and
exactly.
the first assist is just kind of a shovel it over here and let the other guy bang it home. But you freed up the guy because of that first pass. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I I don't have time for that either.
It's those same guys are probably saying that, Lemieux or is better than Gretzky or something too, right? But Gretzky has way more goals than those guys. It doesn't matter then.
Yeah, I mean,
They try and a lot of those guys they skew their argument for the situation.
I've got time for a little bit of conversation about Mario Lemieux because he missed a significant amount of time with cancer
Yeah.
and everything that he went through, and he was a dominant force. But then you get into the hypothetical world, and
But
to me it's about what you did, not what you might have done. Like,
absolutely.
Wayne having more assists than anybody else has points, with Yager being kind of in second place with 1921. Wayne had points, total points. Wayne had 1963 career assists.
Yeah.
So, Ovechkin might pass Wayne on the goal total, but I like to think of, what if Wayne played the game kind of the same way that Ovi does, where he's a shoot first kind of guy, and Wayne
Yeah.
wasn't. He was a pass first guy. He was a chess player, trying to win hockey games.
He
If,
made
if
other people 50 goal scorers.
Yeah, if Wayne like had that mentality where I'm just gonna worry about my offense, who knows what he would have put up. Um, I mean, yeah, Ovi might have that title of being number one on the all-time goals list, and great for him. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment, but to me, it's Gretz that's still the guy that
For sure.
did it. You know, 50 and 39. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy was
Yeah.
unreal.
Totally. Totally. And yeah, I think it's a silly argument. And there's no, the guy that is the best player in the league is the guy that has the most points. That's the way it is. And then anything else you want to argue is
Yeah,
just subjectivity. That's all
yeah.
it is. It's your opinion. You're skewing something that isn't real.
Um, so I think we lost something that kind of is relevant to that too. I just got to go back.
I'm just gonna run and let the dog out.
That guy that is torching the league had another one today in the name of Connor McDavid, who has 28 goals um, in 32 games, I believe it is, or maybe today was today game 33? No, today was game 32. So
Yeah, that's another good one.
he's 4 goals off the pace of 50 and 50.
Yeah.
You think he takes a serious run at this, or does
Yeah.
he start to cool off here, or
No,
does he pick it up even more?
no. I think he was pissed off at not winning Ted Lindsay last year. I think, like, I think,
He's on a mission.
yeah, I think, I think he wants 60. at least.
Yeah, I think he can take a legitimate shot at that.
I think he just wants to blow all of them out of the water and have,
Yeah.
just quiet everybody down.
Do you think he doesn't keep up that pace? Like, do you think he cools off a little bit or changes his game a little bit when Kane's back, or just keeps going the same way?
I don't know.
I,
It, I don't know. Like it,
I don't see him really adjusting it.
no, I don't think so either. I think Kane is a great like passer too. He's set up McDavid often.
Well, I think it'll free up Connor a little more.
Yeah, I think yeah,
So it might even actually help his goal total because people are going to have to start paying attention to
yeah,
Vander.
yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, he, I don't. This may sound dumb, but is it possible that Connor McDavid could be one of the most underrated people in the league? Like he doesn't get talked about. It's almost like and I'm talking about major, Sportsnet and TSN and those guys. Like they want to talk about everybody else. They want, it's Robertson one week and it's Tage Thompson and it's like, yeah, they had a good little run there.
Me and Michael talked about this on his show on Tuesday. Um, I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, you know, when there's a team that wins a lot, then people start wanting them to lose.
Yeah,
You know, you hate dynasties because they're winners, and after a while, people get tired of seeing that. Like it happened with us, the '80s Oilers. It happened with the Chicago Bulls. Like
yeah,
it, you just and honestly, I started to get that way with Tampa. People want to see a new winner, right?
yeah,
Um, it gets that way with Connor.
yeah.
He's so phenomenal that if you talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, then you get tired of it. So you try to brag up other guys to his level, so you're talking about something else. That's
And
that's
he,
that's what's been going on. I mean, and now he's just on another level. I mean, I think what he's doing this year is I mean, what he's been doing his whole career has been impressive, but he's added another element, and it's really impressive. But
it's
you're probably
amazing.
not hearing enough about it. He probably
No,
should have been player of the week, player of the month, every the whole season so far.
like highlight of the night,
Oh, Mitch Marner's got this scoring streak. Oh, big deal. Look,
yeah.
like McDavid's blowing him out of the water. It's not even close.
Is he in the top 20?
Like,
Man,
I mean,
yeah,
and and
I
and honestly, what's happening is it's allowing guys like Nugent Hopkins and Hyman to fly a little bit under the radar, and they're having phenomenal seasons too.
yeah, I think like especially Nuge, his role didn't get any easier this year. He's still like last year. I thought he struggled because he had to move around so much. You know what? One one shift he's on the top line left wing, the next he's with Draisaitl, and then he's back third line center, and he's all over the place. He had the most special team minutes of all our players last year. And he didn't have I mean, he had an okay year, not phenomenal. And then this year, his role hasn't really changed from last year, but he's flourishing. Man, he's on pace for his best year ever. At what is he, 30?
I believe.
30?
Oh, let's make sure here.
I gotta let the dog in now.
Okay,
It's
I'll
cold out.
I'll get his age. He is 29 years old. Birthday's in April on the 12th, 10 days before mine. And I won't say how old I'm going to be then. Daniel Gutierrez. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Defense needs to learn to shoot shots. Yeah, Bouchard, on the one backhand that he tried to go across the ice that got picked there, probably should have wristed that on net. But
I think Bouchard passes the puck way too much when he's on the point. Like that's Barry's role. if you have Bouchard's shot and you're passing the puck to somebody else, that's wrong. Shoot the puck.
Yeah, Barry's a good distributor on the point
He's excellent.
on the power play. I think his reads are just a little bit more advanced than Bouchard's, and that's probably just due to the fact he's been in the league longer.
Well, I think that
Um,
plays into our power play better too. With the rest of the guys, Barry's getting the puck to Nuge or to Draisaitl or to McDavid, and they get it down low and go and
yeah,
score a goal. Our power play isn't typically, get it to the point for a big bomb from the
no,
point.
no, no,
Yeah.
no. I would be okay with more point shots being taken for sure, and
Yeah.
tips like um, have a Hyman or Puliarvi out in front of the net, but pull them out a little bit more to the point. Like low slot rather than
Yeah.
kind of tip of the crease.
Yeah.
Just a
I,
little.
I think we miss, Kane and McLeod in that we don't have a second power play unit right now.
Not really, no.
Not what it was. And we just got Yamamoto back too. So, those three guys were on, and Fogel, those guys were all on the second power play unit.
Yeah.
So now you got Holloway and Puliarvi and
Um,
like Ryan and Shore, and I don't know.
we'll go for a few more minutes here. Was wondering what you think about. They split up the big line. Um, what was it like second period or something? And they shuffled the D around too. That's when the pairings kind of got shuffled. Um, sort of
I didn't understand why.
yeah, the game turned when those changes made. But I wonder, do you stick with what they ended with or what they started with?
Um, I'll start by saying I wish Fogel were better. Like he's almost awesome. So, it's not like, so we have Fogel back. I don't think that allows you to split up Connor and Leon, and like if they get Kane back, then it does. Then you do want to split them up. But, Fogel's no Kane. Um, I I think we were winning with them together, and we need to win right now.
Yeah,
And I don't think Anaheim would have an answer to, Connor and Leon and Hyman. Like I didn't think those three played poorly today.
I think if you're gonna put Connor and Leon together, it has to be Hyman with them.
Oh, absolutely,
It has to
yes.
be. There's
Yeah.
nobody else that stirs that drink at all. Like they've tried Yamamoto, they've tried
No,
Puliarvi, and nothing gets done.
no, it's Hyman.
Hyman is the guy to go with those guys. Um,
Did you see that one that
but
they
but
waved off today?
yeah, I don't mind that because Hyman used his stick to shovel the goalie in the
Yeah,
net with the
it
puck.
looked like when the goalie went down, he kind of slid himself into the net. I don't think Hyman pushed him in there.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, he gave him the old.
Because like Hyman wanted them to challenge that.
Yeah, no, he jabbed him in there. But you know, if you just quick glance at that, it looks like, what the hell are they calling that back forward? Quick whistle, fuck this. But yeah, no, he gave him the old stick on the pads and shoveled him in with the puck.
Yeah,
um, so I wasn't upset at that at all.
I wasn't upset that they didn't challenge it because
Like today, Nurse gets that kind of wrister to go in, but the other two goals were on the power play.
yeah,
And there wasn't a lot doing. So when he juggled the lines, I think is kind of when they actually started going. There was
yeah,
some sluggish like time in that first period. They kind of, I don't know, maybe it's momentum or whatever, but they sunk in that game. Like to me, Dylan Holloway was the standout in the first period, and
Yeah.
then as the game kind of went on, then the big boys started to play and push the river, as they say.
Yeah, I guess it seemed weird to make the change when he did. Like it seemed like a panic move. And sorry, did we start with McDavid and Draisaitl together or apart?
Yeah, no, they were together.
So have you ever seen like a move when you're losing a game and you split up Leon and Connor?
No, I
Like
mean
usually when you're
usually
losing, you put them together.
usually that's the Dave Tippett bailout. You know, like
Yeah,
you're down a goal or two, so you want to get one, so you marry those guys together and run
yeah,
with
you
that
load them
for a
up.
bit. I I don't know. Like he might have split them up, trying to make it more difficult for Eakins to kind of put guys down
So,
to try to shut it off.
yeah, they do have a couple of good defensemen there.
I didn't mind. What was it? I have it here. Just one sec. Oh man. Yeah. So Holloway with Hyman and Dry, Fogel with Yamamoto and McDavid. Um, and I don't think that stayed that way for very long. I think he shuffled that even, but
Yeah.
Fogel and Yamamoto with McDavid for me didn't do anything.
Who's with Nuge then?
Yanmark and
Yeah,
Puliarvi.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't think Janmark had a great game today. Seemed a little slow. And he was one of the guys on the power play or on the penalty kill that,
That's where that whole interchange thing gets
yeah. And
fouled up bad.
he's the middle guy, and he's not fast enough there. Like
It's
he did not look good there today.
yeah, I don't know. That penalty kill just aggravates me.
Yeah.
Um yeah, I don't know if you ever heard Low Tide's rant about the penalty kill a couple of years ago.
What did he call it?
Uh, I've seen better penalty killing at the Ice Capades.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's like I hear that rant every time I see that interchange up high.
Yeah.
Oh, um,
I thought, I thought we controlled the play. I thought aside from a couple, like Bouchard had at least three really bad plays. Two of them led to goals. That even coughing it up, like a breakaway shouldn't be a guaranteed goal. Again, back to the goalie bailing you out. If it's in a shootout, goalies have it's like 80 or 85% of the time they make the save. But for whatever reason, if it's you cough that up on the blue line, that's a guaranteed goal. I don't know. It obviously not his fault. You don't like to see them cough that up there, especially on a power play. But you know, it, there's a couple. I think. I mean, they overall should have just been better. It should have never gotten to that. The one
um,
that really bothered me, like the screen one, was just he had no idea where he was.
he
He
had
like
lots of time to get out of the way too. Like it
oh
was
he's just like he's looking around like he had no idea. He needed a roadmap. He had no clue,
like
and he was standing in the worst possible spot.
yeah,
He would have been better off letting their guy come in front and try and screen Skinner that well, because I don't think their guy could have done that good of a job.
no, no, no. That was just
That was the one that I really didn't like that one.
he was a deer in the headlights there.
Yeah,
It's like
the other ones, even the one where he coughed it up on the blue line for the breakaway. The part that I really didn't like about that, his first five strides were not hard.
the
He
back check.
he had like given up already.
Yeah,
Man, that's not a good look.
yeah,
If you cut if what would Nurse do if he did that? He'd try and chase the guy down.
yeah. I mean, trip him, whatever. Take the penalty,
Yeah,
give him a penalty shot, whatever. Just yeah, yeah. I don't know where that was in his shift. So that's the only thing I would question. If it's late in the
yeah.
shift, then yeah, you cut him a little slack. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just wasn't his day, and
No, it wasn't.
that's gonna happen. I mean, guys have bad
Yeah,
games.
totally.
Um, so they go on the road for two, Monday against Nashville again, and then Wednesday against the Dallas Stars. How many points does Leon put up on Monday?
Mm, wow.
You got to pencil him in for at least three. I think that's taking the under, but
Yeah.
he just kills
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah. For sure. Do we do we split those games?
Uh, in terms of wins, losses, or net
Yeah.
minding, or both.
No, no, wins losses.
Man, it would be nice to win them both.
Yeah, I know. Dallas is pretty good.
I sort of have this feeling like they're going to think they beat Nashville already and drop that game, and then turn around and beat Dallas and totally
No,
surprise
I
everyone.
think I said will beat Nashville on his own.
Probably, uh,
Yeah.
probably Murphy's Law though. He'll get skunked, but yeah.
Does he have does he have 20 points against them this year?
I think Jack Michaels had a stat of in the last
Like,
10
I think he
games
had two
against.
5 point games
I think
against them.
I think Michaels had a
Sorry,
stat
10
that
points.
in the last ten games Leon's played against Nashville, he's had 30 points. I think that correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the Jack Michaels stat that I heard.
Yeah. That is
Torching a
that
team,
yeah. Yeah.
robbing them of their lunch money, and
I think he has 10 points, something like that, against Nashville this year. Two 5 point games.
taking their lunch money and then sleeping with their mom that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I think we've done enough damage for one night. I'd
Cool.
like to thank you for coming on, and check out Neil Garritty on the Twitterverse. All of his tens of peoples have tuned in tonight, and I appreciate that. I like how he's got self-deprecating humor. Um, Subscribe to him on Twitter. He's a pretty good guy, and I thank him for coming on. Um, on to Nashville, hopefully a win, and we've got one more show before Christmas next Saturday, following Oilers and Canucks. I think Lars Caliu, Extra Lars on Twitter, comedian, and his comedic friend from Down Under, Bloke Franklin, Chris Franklin. I believe he is in. Oh, what is it? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Man, one of the. He's not in Sydney, but
Melbourne?
Melbourne. Yeah, I believe he's in Melbourne. Um,
I
is
forgot.
is going to be on the show. He's a funny guy. He's got a real cool outlook on hockey and how we should, as fans, love all our players, which is totally different than what Oilers fans seem to do. He doesn't want to run anybody out of town. He loves them all, and he's a big Australian rules football guy and a funny guy. He'll be on the show. I think Michael's doing a show on Tuesday. Not sure exactly who his guest is yet, but you can check that out on Heavy Hockey YouTube channel, um, or on Twitter under Heavy Hockey Network. You can watch on Twitch or on Facebook. Thanks everybody for watching. You can read articles on heavyhockey.com. Keep your sticks on the ice. Keep reaching for the stars. Go Oilers, go. Have a good night.